In this session, we will begin with new chapter, Projections of Solids. Now, this chapter is nearly similar to the earlier chapter, that is Projections of Planes, in terms of nature of questions and steps involved in the solution of the problem. The only difference between these two chapters being, instead of planes, we will be doing projections of solids only. Everything of the projections would be same. But before going for projections of solids directly, first we will see what solids we are going to study in this chapter and what are basics of those solids. In this chapter, we will be primarily studying four solids: prism, cylinder, pyramid and cone. These solids are also known as polyhedrons. Poly means many, hadrons means surfaces. So all these solids are having many surfaces. We will see solids one by one. First we will see projection of prism, then cylinder, then pyramid, then cone. But before going for projections of prism directly, it would be worthwhile to see the basics of prism. What do we exactly mean by prism? How do it look like? And what are its basic parameters? So first we will study those basic things of prism, then we will go for our usual thing of projection. So these are few examples of prism. As you can observe here, prism is a solid having identical upper base and lower base. These two bases, in this case upper triangle and lower triangle, they are identical to each other in every term, dimension wise and look wise, and the corners of these bases, they are joined with these longer edges. This is the basic composition of prism. So prism is essentially polyhedron having identical upper base and lower base with corners of the bases joined with longer edges. And the shape of these identical bases determines the name of prism. So in this case, as the shape of this object, base of this object is triangular, that's why this solid will be known as a triangular prism. Here there is one more example of square prism. So as its name implies, these two identical bases, upper base and lower base, they are of square shape. That's why this prism is known as square prism. Another example, pentagonal prism. Upper base is of pentagon, lower base is of pentagonal shape, and corners are joined with the help of longer edges. This is the general basic composition of prisms. In addition to this basic composition, now we will need to study some parameters which will be utilized for the projections. So already we have seen two identical bases and these corners of bases, and these edges are known as longer edges. Sometimes they are known as vertical edges, but more often they will be known as longer edges. One more parameter is, irrespective whether prism is triangular, square or pentagonal, its side surface, that is surface at the sides, will be of rectangular shape. So for triangular prism also, we are having side face in the form of rectangle. For square prism also, the side face is of rectangular shape. So is the case for pentagonal prism. For all, whatever may be the prism, pentagonal prism, hexagonal prism, heptagonal prism, the upper and lower base would be specified name, that is pentagon or hexagon, but the side faces would always be in rectangular shape. This is another parameter. In addition to these points, there are two imaginary points for every prism, and that imaginary point, they are joined by imaginary line which is known as axis of a prism. So axis of a prism it is nothing but an imaginary line passing through the center of a prism, or you can call it as a center line of a prism. Now, how to locate it? We have to locate first center point or midpoint of upper base, center point of lower base, and the line joining these 2 points which runs through a middle of this object is known as axis of the prism. So every prism will be having its axis. It is imaginary, it does not exist in the form of edge, but for the sake of projection it will be very important. Now, after observing the basic composition and basic parameters, now we will see the important thing of nomenclature of prism. As our syllabus will be restricted at the most to the hexagonal prism, so number of points need to be projected would be more. So if you take here example of pentagonal prism, there are 5 corners of upper base, there are 5 corner points of lower base, collectively these are 10 points, and additionally we have seen that there would be one center point of the upper pentagon and one center point of lower pentagon, and this line joining would be known as axis. So these 2 additional points of axis makes the total counts of points to be projected for this pentagonal prism to be 12. So in every view we need to project these 12 points, so it would be very helpful if we keep the uniformity in the nomenclature of these points. That's why in our every problem these corners of bottom base would be always named as A, B, C, D, E. No any other designation. Corners of bottom points or bottom pentagon would be A, B, C, D, E. If there is a hexagonal prism, it would be F. Likewise, the corners of upper pentagon we will be always nomenclaturing as P, Q, R, S, T. Moreover, above this point A we will be always placing point P. Above this point B we will be placing Q. Above point C we will be placing R in every problem. So would be D and S and E and T. So in other words, we will be making pairs of these points forming longer edges. So in projection, if you have projected all the 12 points, there will not be any confusion. A will be always joined with P to form the longer edge. B will be always joined with point Q for the longer edge. In the solution you will come to realize this technique is very helpful, that is keeping nomenclature uniform. Now we'll see what problem on projection of solid will consist. As I have said, this chapter is nearly similar to the chapter of projections of planes. So the problems also will involve 3 things as they do in projections of planes. Every problem on projection of solid shall consist of name of the solid, which solid it is, and its dimensions. Second, condition with HRP, and third, condition with respect to FRP. Now as we are projecting here large number of points, relatively problems would be simpler one. There would not be any complication of the kind we have seen in chapter projections of planes. And the stages involved in the solutions are also same. As we have done for projection of planes, in the similar manner we will be executing solution of our problem on projections of solids. So we will take example and then we will see. This is first example of projections of solids. A pentagonal prism having an edge of base 25 mm and axis 55 mm has one of its corners of base in HRP. The axis is inclined at 30 degrees to the HRP and top view of the axis is inclined at 45 degrees to the FRP. Complete the projections. This is the problem, and as we do for the projection of planes in the solution, our first step would be to write down the data given under 3 headings. The first thing is solid and dimensions. So the solid mentioned in the problem is pentagonal prism, and its dimensions are edge of base, that is length of side of those identical bases, upper base and lower base, it is of 25 mm, and axis 55 mm. Now we have seen that axis, it is an imaginary line, it is a center line connecting centers of upper base and lower base. In other words, axis specifies the height of prism. So axis is 55 mm. With these 2 dimensions, we can draw views of pentagonal prism. So dimensions would be sufficient enough to draw the views. So these 2 dimensions will form the first data of the problem, solid and dimension. Second, condition with respect to HRP. The condition with respect to HRP would be that thing in the problem which is having reference to HRP. Anything related to HRP in the description of problem will form condition with respect to HRP. So if you read the problem once again, a pentagonal prism having an edge of base 25 mm and axis 55 mm has one of its corners of base in HRP. Now this is the first reference to HRP, and what is in the HRP? One of its corners of base. Now if there is only single reference of base, if lower base is not mentioned, then also we have to take it as a lower base. So here it is given that one of the corners of base, now as it is a pentagonal prism, it will be having 5 corners, but out of that 5 corners only 1 corner will be in HRP. This is the first condition. So corner in HRP, and we specify which corner will be in HRP at this point itself. So we have decided that we will be keeping point A of the lower base in HRP. This is the first condition with respect to HRP. Now let us see if there is anything with respect to HRP in the further part of the problem. If you read the next part, the axis is inclined at 30 degrees to the HRP. There is one more reference to the HRP. So that's why this will form another condition with respect to HRP, the axis making angle 30 degrees with HRP. So the second condition with respect to HRP is 30 degrees to HRP. Now there is nothing with respect to HRP in next part of the problem. So these 2 things would be condition with respect to HRP. Now we'll see third data, that is condition with respect to FRP. Like HRP, anything with respect to FRP will be forming condition with respect to FRP. And top view of the axis is inclined at 45 degrees to the FRP. So here angle is given with respect to FRP, 45 degree made by top view of axis. So this will form our third condition with respect to FRP. Top view of axis is inclined at 45 degrees to FRP. Now this stage is very important. Figuring out data given in the problem correctly is very important aspect of the solution. Now we'll go for the projection step by step. In first step, we will draw the solid with given dimension in simple position without any condition, without any inclination. Then we will complete condition with respect to HRP, and finally we will be completing condition with respect to FRP. So in the first stage, while drawing solid in its simple position, dimensions are given, base 25 mm and height of axis 55 mm. Now if you visualize how prism would be looking from the top and from the front when it is kept in simple position. In the top view, every prism will be seen as a shape of its base, upper base and lower base, they will be overlapping each other. So in our case, if it is a pentagonal prism, its top view will be only pentagon. That part would be only visible while observing that prism from the top. And while observing that prism from the front, and if you go for the outline of the prism, a single line will represent lower base, extreme right hand edge will represent one of the longer edge, again horizontal single line will represent upper base, and extreme left hand side will represent another longer edge. So the front view of every prism will be rectangle, and the height of rectangle will be equal to height of axis, because we have seen that height of axis is nothing but height of prism. So in our first step, we will be keeping pentagonal prism in simple position. In other words, there will be a pentagon in top view and rectangle of height 25 mm in front view. Now we'll see that step. So this will be our first step, drawing simple position top view. So as we have seen, in top view there would be pentagon of side 25 mm. Again, there are n number of ways we can draw pentagon at this location, but we have to draw that pentagon in the correct orientation, and the orientation is decided by the properties of parameter. Now here condition with respect to HRP is given that one of the corners of base will be in HRP. That's why while drawing this pentagon, we have to take care that one of the corner of pentagon, it either remains free on the right hand side or left hand side. So in this case, I have kept this corner of base free on the right hand side. Even if you keep it free on the left hand side, it will also do, but the inclination or tilting of the object will be greatly visualized when we keep corner of the base or anything of which property with respect to HRP is given free on the right hand side. If you draw the one side of the pentagon vertical, it automatically brings corner of pentagon on the right hand side. So first we will draw this 25 mm side as a vertical, then with the internal angle of 108 degrees we will go on completing pentagon, and we will draw pentagon in this orientation. After drawing pentagon, the important thing is nomenclature. First we will give names to the corner points of lower base, and we have decided that the lower base will be named A, B, C, D, E, and that too we have decided that this corner A would be resting in HRP. That's why the corner which has been kept free on the right hand side, from that point we will start nomenclature. So this point would be A, B, C, D, E. You can go anti-clockwise also, it doesn't matter. Only care you have to take, you have to keep this point as A. So this A, B, C, D, E, these are 5 corners of lower base. There would be 5 corner points of upper base also, and we have decided that above point A we will be placing always point P. So here corners of upper bases would be named as P, Q, R, S and T. So these are 10 points of lower base and upper base. In addition to these 10 points, there are 2 more points of the axis that we know. In all problems, we will be specifying axis as M, N. M being the center of upper pentagon and N being the center of lower pentagon. And in top view also, as this MN axis is vertical, it is appearing as a single point or as a point view. Now how to locate center of pentagon? Again, there are n number of geometric ways. One of the method is you can join midpoint of any one side of the pentagon with facing corner. So this would be the first line, and you have to do this construction once more. Any other side of the pentagon, its midpoint would be joined with facing corner, and this intersection of these 2 lines would form the center of pentagon. So this would be our first step, that is drawing top view of pentagonal prism, which is nothing but a pentagon with correct orientation and correct nomenclature. Now in next step, we will be projecting these points in the front view. Now we have seen that when object or prism is kept in simple position, its front view will be seen as a rectangle of height 55 mm. So first we will project points of lower base on the HRP. So A we have projected on HRP. Due to symmetry, B and E will overlap at the same position. C and D would overlap at the same position. And we have decided that N will be the center point of lower pentagon. That's why N also will be projected on the lower base. So these are 5 corner points and 1 center point N projected on the lower base or on HRP. Now we will mark the height of this prism. From N we know that height of axis is given 55 mm, and at 55 mm height we will be locating point M. Another important thing, this line MN we have not drawn with continuous line. As it is an imaginary line, it does not exist as an edge of the object. It would be always drawn as continuous line dot, continuous line dot, continuous line dot. Generally this is a convention to draw the center line of any object. So the axis would be drawn as continuous line dot, continuous line dot. And in next part we will be completing this rectangle. Above A at a height of 55 mm would be P. Above B and E there would be points Q and T at 55 mm, so that this upper base would be completed. Then this extreme edge on right hand side, extreme edge on left hand side. So in this part we have completed this rectangle as specified. So this is the front view of a prism, and this is a top view of a prism when it is kept in simple position. This is our first stage of solution. Here 1/3 problem has been solved. Now in next step we will be completing condition with respect to HRP. So as we are going to complete condition with respect to HRP, we have to refer front view, because while considering front view we treat this reference line as HRP. So in this front view we are going to make changes, and these changes would be made as per the condition, and the condition is point A should be in HRP. Every other point should be lifted. It should not be in HRP. That is the condition. So we will tilt this object, we will tilt this prism around point A, and this angle of tilt is also given. The angle of tilt is given. Axis is inclined at 30 degrees to HRP. So when this prism gets tilted, the angle made by this center axis would be 30 degrees to HRP. Now while completing this stage would be critical, because while tilting we will be keeping point A in HRP here. That's why it would be difficult to take angle of MN as 30 degrees, but we can complete it with the property of geometry. We know that this base ABCDE and this axis MN, they are 90 degrees to each other. So as these two lines, axis MN and base, are 90 degrees to each other, if axis MN makes inclination 30 degrees to HRP, base would make 60 degrees to HRP. In other words, if we draw this base ABCDE at an angle to 60 degree to this HRP, this angle, then automatically this axis will make 30 degrees, because angle between them is 90 degrees. So in order to complete that thing, we will take point A first at a convenient location, and this entire lower base A to CD would be redrawn without changing its dimensions at an angle of 60 degree. But angle of base 60 degree is not given, angle of axis is given, but we are drawing base 60 degrees, because if we draw base at 60 degrees, automatically this axis will make angle 30 degrees. So all these points A, B, E, N, C, D, they are redrawn here with same dimensions. Whatever dimensions are existing here, same are transferred here, reconstructed at an angle 60 degree. And after constructing this base at 60 degree, all the remaining parts A to P dimensions we will keep same, this length 55 mm. So from this, at this base A, B, C, D, E at 90 degrees, if you draw this line of 55 mm, AP would be completed. And from this point CD at 90 degree, if you draw this line of 55 mm, R and S we will locate. Then we will complete this space and locate Q and T and M also. In other words, this front view is redrawn with same dimensions, but as per the inclination given. So this would be our third step. Our fourth usual step would be to draw this changed top view. As we have made changes in the front view, there would be changes in top view. And we know how to obtain this changed top view. We take projections from changed front view and corresponding projections from previous top view. So in next step, we will be drawing projectors from all these points. In all total, there would be 12 projectors or projectors of 12 points, and the corresponding projectors from previous top view. That means projector from A from previous top view, projector from A from change front view. This would be the exact location of point A. So in this manner, we will be completing locations of all the points, including axis point N and M. Now at this stage, there is one more important concept. That is, though we have obtained location of all these points in the changed top view, we are not going to join these points directly, because as this object is in the inclined position and we are completing top view, while observing this object from the top, some of the edges, some of the points would be invisible to the observer. So hence we cannot draw those lines continuously. We have to draw those lines as dotted one. In orthographic projections, we have seen that visible lines are drawn with continuous line, invisible lines or edges are drawn with dotted lines. That's why we will be joining those edges which are visible only with continuous lines and those edges which are invisible with dotted lines. Now which edges are visible, which edges are invisible? For this we will be using rule of visibility, and this is very important throughout this chapter. While joining points, we will be following this rule of visibility compulsorily. And this rule of visibility consists of 3 steps. In first step, complete that base first which is away from reference line with continuous line, it will be visible. So for prism, we know that there are 2 bases, and while joining, that base will be completed first which is away from reference line in previous view. Now how to complete that we will see in the problem, but this would be the first step. We will not complete randomly any base, we will complete that base which is away from reference line in previous view. Then in second stage, we will complete all longer edges. We will not go for completing remaining base directly, we will complete all longer edges. And while completing, if it intersects already drawn line, then it is hidden, hence will be drawn as dotted, otherwise it will be visible and hence drawn as continuous. In other words, after completing the visible base in the first step, we will draw all longer edges AP, BQ, CR, SD, and while drawing these lines, if it intersects already drawn line, then it will be dotted, otherwise it will be drawn as continuous. And in third step, we will be completing remaining base which we have left, and while completing that base also, if it intersects already drawn line, then it will be invisible, hence dotted, otherwise it will be drawn as continuous. Now we will see these steps and how to implement these steps in actual solution. In our case, there were 12 points, 5 points of each base and 2 points of axis. So as per the rule of visibility, we will be joining that base first with continuous line which is away from reference line in previous view. So here we want to complete this view. So previous view to this view means this view. And if you analyze here, if you compare these two bases A, B, C, D, E and P, Q, R, S, T, out of these two bases, this P, Q, R, S, T base is away from reference line, that is at more distance as compared to base A, B, C, D. That's why this P, Q, R, S, T base would be joined with continuous line. It would be clearly visible. The logic behind it is that the base which is away from reference line would be near to the observer. Observer would be here. So if base is away from reference line means it is near to the observer. That's why it would be clearly visible. That's why it would be drawn with continuous line. In second step, we complete all the longer edges A, P, B, Q, C, R. So if you go for joining these lines A to P, B to Q, C to R, you have to follow one thing. If it intersects already drawn line, then it is hidden, hence will be drawn as dotted, otherwise it will be drawn as continuous. So if you go for joining A to P, here is point A, here is point P. If you join this A point with P, it is intersecting already drawn line SR. That's why it is hidden, hence it will be drawn as dotted. If you go for joining B with Q, longer edge, another longer edge, BQ is not intersecting anything, hence it will be continuous, it will be drawn continuous. C to R, it is also not intersecting anything, it will be continuous. D to S, it is also not intersecting, hence will be continuous. And E to T, again it is not intersecting anything, hence it will be continuous. So out of these 5 longer edges, only AP is intersecting, hence it will be drawn as dotted line. So these 5 longer edges we have completed, of which only one is hidden, hence dotted. And finally in third step, we complete remaining base, that is A, B, C, D, E, and the same logic we will be following. While drawing the line, if it intersects already drawn line, then it is hidden, hence dotted, otherwise it would be continuous. So if you go for joining A to B, it is intersecting already drawn line, hence it is dotted. B to C is not intersecting, continuous. C to D not intersecting, continuous. D to E not intersecting, continuous. But E to A, if you go for joining E to A, it is intersecting already drawn line SD, hence E to A would be dotted. So of this lower base, 2 edges would be hidden and dotted, AB and AE. So we have drawn this AB and AE as dotted, other lines as continuous. So this is the condition with respect to HRP. We have completed front view and top view. Now in the next step, final step, we will be completing condition with respect to FRP. And we know that if condition with respect to FRP is to be completed, a new FRP would be constructed at the side of top view. So while completing that last condition, we will be constructing here new FRP, but it will not be constructed at any random location. it will be constructed as per the given condition, and in data it is given that top view of axis MN is inclined at 45 degrees with respect to FRP. So this new FRP would be drawn at an angle of 45 degree with this top view of axis. It is not mentioned that axis is inclined at 45 degree, because here axis means true length. It would have been different case. So as it is mentioned top view of axis, we will be taking angle directly 45 degree. And in this new view, we will be projecting all the points, all these 12 points, 5 points of PQRST, 5 points of ABCD, and center points N and M in this new view. All the projectors must be perpendicular to this reference line, and distance we take from next to adjacent plane. We want distances in this view, we will skip this adjacent view and we will transfer distances from this next to adjacent view. First we have drawn projectors from all these points, and then we have transferred distances from this view, and we have located all the 12 points. Now again there is a question of joining the points. How to join the points? We will follow the same rule of visibility as we have done for completing this diagram. Out of these two bases ABCDE and PQRST, that base would be completed first, which is away from reference line in previous view. So previous view means this view. In this view, this is the reference line, and this PQRST base, it is near to the reference line as compared to this base ABCD. That's why in joining points in this view, ABCDE base would be completed first with continuous line, then longer edges, then remaining base. And while completing longer edges and remaining base, we follow one property. If it intersects already drawn line, then it is hidden, otherwise it would be continuous. So here, as base ABCDE is farthest from reference line, base ABCDE would be completed first with continuous line, then all longer edges. So if you see, if you go for completing longer edges, only BQ is intersecting already drawn line DE. Any other line AP, TE, DS or CR are not intersecting, hence they are continuous. And finally we will be completing this remaining base. So in the last stage we have completed this remaining base. Here also PT, TS, SR, they are not intersecting, hence continuous. But while joining PQ and QR, they are intersecting already drawn line, hence they have been drawn as dotted. So rule of visibility we have used for completing this and this view also. And this completes our problem. This is object in simple position. This is condition with respect to HRP, these two figures, and these two figures complete condition with respect to FRP.